one looked very painful. He's been hammered there.
Sarah's ball in and the header from McAllister is wondrous. Oh, Pickford's lost it.
It's a calamity.
It's Gerrard again.
Looks the goal against the old enemy, doesn't he?
What a wonderful clearance, Salah! It had to be! Oh, that was beautiful! Beautiful ball across goal! It's brilliant from Diogo Jota, yes! A moment of quality and a moment of class unlocks the Everton door on Derby Day.
Good morning, the very soul of Merseyside football indeed. Bragging rights once again on the line between the Reds and the Blues. Arne Slot and his side looking to make it 5 from 5 in the Premier League. For the visitors, of course, it's not quite the short trip across Stanley Park these days, but they will want to cut the distance in the table between themselves and their city rivals with a rare victory at Anfield. Liverpool versus Everton, the 247th Merseyside Derby, and it is the early kick-off today, 12:30, when they get underway here at Anfield. We'll have live audio commentary, of course, of the full game here on LFC TV and all red video. If you're watching on socials and would like to subscribe, do visit the official website for details on how to do just that. So welcome to Matchday Live, and welcome, of course, to two Reds alongside me who know all about the fiery, feisty nature of the derby. Ray Houghton and Phil Thompson, welcome both. It's raining, the pitch looks perfect. Are you up for it, Ray?
Oh, absolutely. But I've got to tell you, Matt, I'm glad I'm this side of the pitch and not that. Because when I think back to the days when we played in derby matches, I think the first 20 minutes, I didn't touch the ball. It was just one of the Everton players chipping me from one side of the pitch to the other, then backwards. It was absolutely ferocious. It was incredible matches, but the bragging rights afterwards if you won was incredible. Just looking at it, was it 247 derby matches? You must have played quite a few of them, Phil.
Oh.
It's been for about 20 years.
To be honest, the mild affairs now, and you'd have to say that, wouldn't you, Ray, to what it was back when anything was allowed to go, tackles from behind, things like that. It's still extremely fierce, these games, as we've seen. You've just mentioned the pitch. It's slippery. Those tackles will be coming in, the ball will be flying around, and that's when you've got to be really, really careful with your challenges, because as we know, is it the most red cards in any game, the Merseyside Derby?
Does it make any difference that it's this early in the season? It feels quite early, doesn't it, for a derby?
Yeah, it does, but you've got to play them twice in the season. We
do.
know that will
Thank goodness, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank goodness there's only two.
And 12:30 kickoffs. I wasn't a great lover of the early kick. I've got to be honest with you. I preferred it at the 3 or the 4 o'clock on a Sunday if you played like that. But the players will be fully focused on the job in hand. They know exactly what's required from. Liverpool did play midweek, so that Everton might have a slight advantage in that they've had a good week to get their preparation right. And it'll be interesting to see the Liverpool starting 11, who the manager's going to, who he might have left out, or the players he's contemplating playing today. But you know one thing you're going to get against Everton as a Liverpool player, it's going to be feisty. There's going to be tackles flying in, and you've got to be ready for that.
Plenty more from Ray and Phil between now and kick-off, but how much does Arne Slot shuffle that luxury pack at his disposal? Straight across to the tunnel where Peter McDowell can tell us who lines up for the Reds for the Anfield Derby. Pete?
Not so much at stake, Matt, for a game like this. Bragging rights, there could be a potential change to your social plans this weekend, maybe even an uneasy Sunday dinner if your family is split. But Liverpool have won the last 4 here at Anfield, and in terms of good news, Arne Slot has had a fully fit squad to pick from, probably for the first time this season. Curtis Jones available again after missing a couple of games. He's made 4 changes to the team that won dramatically late on the other night. Let's confirm those for you, because there's returns for Bradley, Kirkes, McAllister and also Ekitike. So Liverpool's 11 looks like this. Alisson in goal, 7 shutouts in his last 11 Premier League games against Everton. He could go level with Pepe Reina, second in the all-time list of clean sheets for Merseyside derbies, Alisson Becker. And then it's Conor Bradley, Ibrahim Konate, Virgil van Dijk and Kerkez, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister. McAllister's first Merseyside derby goal came at Goodison in February. He's got a really good record against Everton as well. 4 goals in 7 starts against the Blues, and you'll remember as well was the victim of that pretty awful tackle here last time around from James Tarkowski as well. Salah, who's in search of more Liverpool records, could go level with a Steven Gerrard tally, an all-time Premier League record against Everton with 1 today. He's on 9 presently. Salah only needs 1 goal for that, but needs another 17 to go in front of Ian Rush's record against Everton. And then it's Gakpo and Ekitike. Where goals are concerned, Liverpool have scored in 38 Premier League games in a row now. Arsenal's record is 55 in 2001-2. So subs bench looks like this, very strong as you would expect. Mamardashvili, Gomez, Endo, Weert, who's on the bench for Liverpool here this afternoon, Isak, who might appear in his first Merseyside derby, of course, as well as Weert, and then Robertson, Frimpong, Jones, Curtis Jones back in the Liverpool squad, sent off, you'll remember, at Goodison Park for defending the away fans' honour in that game, dramatic game again last season. Got his first Liverpool goal here against Everton in January of 2018. And then young Rio Ngamoa, the youngest Merseyside derby scorer, by the way, Robbie Fowler, at 18 years and 338 days, so he could beat that by some distance. And I know you don't like these 12:30 kickoffs. There were 2, both away from home last season in Ipswich and Crystal Palace, and Liverpool won them both.
Thank you very much, Pete. We will go fully in depth on Everton later in the show, but let me just give you a quick rundown of their starting 11. Jordan Pickford in goal, of course. A back 4 of O'Brien, Keane, Tarkowski and Michalenko. Then Garner again, James Garner, we think, sitting in midfield with a 3 in front of them of Iliman Ndiaye, Dewsbury Hall and Jack Grealish behind Beto. So more on the visitors, but for the moment on that Liverpool lineup. Interesting team and hell of a bench. Right out.
Their bench is absolutely fabulous. That's what you expect from Liverpool at the moment. You know, they went out in the summer and they brought in a number of players. You know, they've spent big and for the right reasons. They want to add to the squad from last season. They want to improve it. I think they've done that. And he's utilising the players that he's got. He's made changes from the game on Wednesday, and rightly so. You know, the likes of Wirtz has had 4 league matches, and then obviously the Champions League games. That's 5 games in a row. Everyone's in football, I think today, I was talking to Phil about this, it's immediacy in football. You've got to be immediately brilliant. You know, you come in for big money, you've got no time to fit in, you've just got to be brilliant straight away. And that doesn't happen in football. Sometimes it takes some longer than others to fit into the style. Maybe the different, when you look at the leagues, the Bundesliga to the Premier League, it might be a different pace for the players, whatever it may be, and you've got to get used to that. So the manager's utilising his squad, he's got every right to do. But one thing I would say about this Liverpool side, what I've seen of them, and Phil would know better than I, they're so together, such a tight-knit group that it can change it around, and it's not going to upset the balance. It's not going to upset the players that are coming in, or the ones that have been left out, because they'll be equally as happy for them to go in and do well in the job that they've been asked to do.
What catches your eye, mate?
Well, you can see he's changed from sort of having those 2 players to back to his tried and trusted, which is the Gravenberch, McAllister and Szoboszlai as that midfield 3, which is full of energy, which is going to be noted this derby game. And maybe with Wirtz playing all those games, maybe is, you know, they talk about red zone, because his stats have been so positive. Most runs, most sort of kilometres run. So maybe it was just that they didn't want to burn him out. And I think, as you just said, you just look at the bench and you think, and it's wonderful, because as a coach, manager, you turn around and you look at your bench and you think, what can I pick? And I was there with Gerard Houllier in the early days, and I used to turn around, look at the bench and go, I had to turn around and look back at the pitch. And it's that effect on you. But looking at ours, at any given time, you can change that. So our starting lineup is very, very good. The bench is even better.
Now, with that in mind, therefore, you're both kind of saying no one can be undroppable, but Ryan Gravenberch's becoming something close to that, Ray.
I think so. I think the improvement from last season is immense from our point of view. I thought last season You know, you could tell about his work rate, which was absolutely magnificent. The way he seals in front of the back four, absolutely loved. But I think this season, what I've seen of him, his improvement here, see little things where he gets turned on the ball. I think last season he would have went backwards and square. I think he's been so much more positive in possession of the ball. And he's got this blistering pace.
He does. He needed it then.
It's a gift that you've got in the midfield area. A lot of players, when they control the ball, they can't get away from the opposite player because they haven't got that burst of pace over 3-4 yards. He's got it, whether it's defensively or attacking wise. But I just think he's really matured in the position, the role that he's been asked to play. But it's his overall passing range now. I think from last season to this season is through the roof. It is so much better. I thought against Burnley he was our best player by a long way, and I think against Atletico Madrid, another outstanding performance. So he's just grown and grown and grown. And who would have believed that a year or so ago when everyone was trying to find a position for him? Manager comes in, puts him in that role in front of the back four, and he just blossomed him as a player.
And we saw with the heat map, he's become that kind of elusive thing, a number 6, if you like, who helps his defenders but also affects the game the other way.
He's probably the quickest number 6 in the country, maybe in European football.
Interesting.
And he's not your normal number 6, who's your anchor man. That fella, you just give the ball, he passes it back and he just keeps the ball. This fella, he drops that shoulder and he's gone. And there's nobody quicker than him. Yeah, he's not your stereotypical sort of hard man in the centre midfield, which most teams have got. He's a little bit different, and I think he just suits the way Arne Slot's team go. And when he does, he opens his legs, he just glides past the opposition.
So if he's a bit of a kind of do-all, a bit of a Swiss Army knife, in a different way, you could make that same case for Dominic Szoboszlai, couldn't you?
I honestly, when I seen Dominic pre-season and I seen him in the first couple of games for him, I thought he was undroppable. I did. I thought the player that and the way he's playing, his confidence and his belief in himself, I don't think you could have left him out of the team. You had to find a position. Hence the reason I think why he started playing it right back, because the manager wanted to play Wirtz, and I think he wanted to play Alexis McAllister. Obviously, he got to play Gravenberch, so he was trying to find a role for Dominic, and you got to, because at the moment he's got so much energy, so much belief in what he's doing in the game. And just look here, look at his challenging back, work rate, getting forward, getting his head up, seeing the right pass to play at the right time. We've seen with the free kick that he scored is absolutely phenomenal. I just think at the moment he's one of the players that you can't drop. What I've seen of him, I just think you've got to find a role for him in this Liverpool side, because he's that good. Yeah,
it's what you dream of in your team. You can put him anywhere and he'll accept that role. After his early games at right back, he was like that, because obviously with Connor and with Jeremy, they weren't quite right. So to have him, and then you go, wow. And this boy, I'm more than happy to play there for the good of the team. But his energy levels are just fantastic.
24. I think Gravenberch's 23 and he's 24.
I've seen him play for Hungary against the Republic of Ireland. He played a little bit deeper, near the two centre-halves. And that's another role he can play. You know, he can play deep, he can cover the ground. You know, he's got great energy levels. You know, but it's his passing range. You watch when he gets it, he can hit that 40, 50-yard ball. Because I think Liverpool are the best team in the league. When they change over possession, get the ball forward. They get it forward very, very quickly because they've got genuine pace up front. But you need players who can play that back. Now, we had Trent doing it, and he was as good as anyone in world football doing it. But I think Dominic's got that ability. And when he gets his head up and he can see the pass, he's not afraid to play the right ball at the right time. And that's what you're looking for.
And there's a centre-half not bad at that as well. Now, speaking of pace up front, Isak on the bench today, having, I guess, surprised 1 or 2 with the start on Wednesday. What did you make of his performance?
I thought he was very good. I think it took him a little bit to get involved. Listen, when you've not had a pre-season, but you've not had any game time in the early part of the season, it's hard to get up to speed of your colleagues. And I think he showed out. It's no surprise. The nice thing that he had two attempts, and one of them was a typical Isak chance. Gets it, shifts it, and tries to bend it in the far side. It's going to be a lot more. I had him in my starting lineup yesterday until I heard the press conference by Arne Slot when he said he's never felt so stiff in his life. I thought there's no way he's playing against Everton.
And these are nice headaches, aren't they? These are nice problems for any coach or manager.
And then you can bring in Ekitike. Well, I mean, that's the luxury that you've got as a football club at the moment. I'll tell you what, I think Isak, long-term at Liverpool, will be a prolific scorer. because I think he gets into the right positions.
Yeah.
And the Liverpool have got players who can deliver balls into the box. And if he stays within the confines of the 18-yard box, he will get real opportunities, genuine opportunities, game in, game out. But the manager's got a conundrum because he's got Ekitike and he's got Isak. But listen, that's a luxury that not many clubs have got when you've got that ability and these players that can come and change a game for you. I've got no worries about Isak at all. I think he's going to be a prolific goal scorer at Liverpool.
Could they get on the pitch together at times?
Well, you probably read me mind, Matt, because that's what I was going to come to. That's when you see our bench and you see Isak on the bench, there's that opportunity that you will think, if we're pushing for it, we could go 4-4-2 or 4-2-4 and really push them up. And one of those two who are down the middle, dropping off, which the both of them can do, and that causes opposition all kinds of problems. And then you've got Vert's conundrum. Where do you fit him in if it goes 4-2-4? Yeah. But then he can drop in there, because if you are chasing the game, you need your offensive players on the pitch.
You do, and I'm interested to hear one or two coaches talk about finishers rather than subs, borrowing from other sports. But football is becoming a squad game, or maybe it already is.
Well, it's been that for quite a while now. This isn't something new. It is a squad game. I mean, it's the depth of squad. Look at many substitutions you can make during the course of the game. Back in our day, it was one or two, where you're reluctant to make changes in case you pick up an injury, whereas now that's changed. You can look at situations, you can bring players off even early in a game if you don't think it's working out, because you've got like for like on the bench, and that's something that most clubs would love to have. Liverpool have got it, I think, much more than most in the Premier League. And I think go back to the Ekitike, I think he could play on the left. If Cody's injured or out for whatever reason, I think that's an area he could go and play. Because when I watch him, he gravitates to the left more than the right. I know Cosmo's over there, but if you watch him, he comes over to that side and gets involved in the build-up play. So there could be an opportunity for him, if needed, to fit in on the left-hand side of a front three. It's a great problem to have as a manager. We'll come back to that. That's why the manager's gone out and helped to spend the money that he has, because he wants Liverpool to be a team that plays on the front foot, as we've seen against Atletico Madrid. For the first 15-20 minutes, they were absolutely brilliant. Madrid were taken aback by what Liverpool did, but that's what you need. You need players on the front foot, getting into advanced positions, getting at the opposition with pace, with control, and also that goal threat.
Many a manager would like that kind of headache. Let's get the thoughts of August's Premier League Manager of the Month. Of course, it is a certain Arne Slot collecting the trophy, and the boss is looking forward to another special afternoon at Anfield against the Blues.
Know how special this game is, and the moment we walk into the stadium or when we arrive with the bus, those are the moments you truly feel what it means to the fans. But we don't even need that moment to understand how important this game is. When we faced them last season, they had a very good spell as well, and it wasn't a spell because they just kept on going with that. And into this season again, also, I think they made some good signings. One of them is, of course, a player on loan that was worth 100 million in the past, not maybe still, but someone paid 100 million for him. And he's doing so well for them, Jack Grealish. So, good team. Indeed, there is rivalry, but what I also liked, and I want to emphasize in this moment maybe on that as well, what they did when Diogo passed away, coming to Anfield, and be there. I think was the captain and a few, and of course they showed their respect on sports director to sports director and all these kind of things. So in these moments of times, it's so nice to see that in those tragedies, the rivalry is still there, but the respect towards both is also there. So looking forward to the game, because it's every Anfield game is special, but this derby is even more special. What I like so much here in England is that no matter how much rivalry there is between us and Everton, or between us and United, or if we're going to go to Newcastle with the whole Isak story going on, the fans can just be together. So when we arrived at Newcastle, I saw 10 Liverpool shirts, and I saw many Newcastle shirts, by the way, but the 10 Liverpool shirts could just stand in between the Newcastle fans. That is impossible in Holland. So that is something really special what you have over here now, and I hope you can keep this for many years to come. So yes, there's rivalry. Yes, both fans are so passionate for their own teams, but they respect each other as well. And that for me is the main difference, because if Ajax plays against Feyenoord, away fans are not allowed anymore. So that tells you how terrible that situation is. So yes, it's and it makes it so much nicer if both fans are there. I hope that this is going to continue for as long as football is played here in England. It's not for the first time these players play this game, and for the new ones, it's not for the first time they play in circumstances where there's a lot of rivalry, where there's a lot of intensity in the game, a lot of tackles being made. So, but I think, yes, the focus should also be on the rivalry, but it should also be on what we need to do to win that game, and that is being intense, that is winning the duels, but that's definitely also going to be playing good on the ball and playing good when we don't have the ball, be intense. And it's again going to be a difficult game because they have many good players. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. Is it going to be like last season when we faced them, a lot of long balls, where this season I've seen them playing out from the back many times really well. Maybe also because they've brought in some very talented and good players that can play both styles. So we have to prepare them for that. And of course, maybe Virgil, Mo, these kind of players will tell the new ones what they can expect. But we are not talking about rookies. And it's not like these players play the first time in a full stadium or in the first time in these kind of games. If you talk about Florian, he's played so many special games in his career already that, and I can come up with all the others as well. That yes, it's special, but it's not miles of other special games they've played.
August's manager of the month, and he's easy to listen to, isn't he?
You know what? They've only once that I've ever seen him lose his composure. That was a derby.
Goodison, yeah, yes.
And obviously the mask dropped, but most of the time he gives you a little insight as well as to sort of personality in how his tactical mindset works in games, which is really good. I think he's been wonderful. I think he fitted the absolute, ticked every box when the club went for him. If you remember, Amorim was first in line for Liverpool back in the day, and he soon got dropped out. Maybe it was because of his formation.
Yeah.
But this guy's come in. I think he's been a breath of fresh air. I think he's been different class.
And do you think we're seeing more of Arne Slot's Liverpool as the months roll by? I mean, a hell of a first season, Ray, but I guess he's getting his feet under the table.
Matt, I can't speak highly enough about the man. You know, when you think he's only been at the club just over a season, to achieve what he has so far has been absolutely incredible. And he speaks so well. I love listening to him because it's just simple. You know, I mean, he doesn't overcomplicate things. I'm sure he does with his players. You know, he's making sure he gets everything across to them, what's required to go and win football games. But there's a passion there. There's a love of the club there. I think that comes through when he speaks. He wants this club to be extremely successful, and he wants to leave a legacy here that will rival all the past great managers Liverpool have had. But he's been brilliant for the club. I think the players that he's brought in have been very, very good. But above all, the fans love watching good football. And if you want to watch a team in the Premier League, you're going to watch Liverpool because they play better than most. They play a front foot, attacking football, and gets fans on the edge of the seats.
I do think though, Ray, when it first started last season, like people are going, oh, we've had a slow start. It was exactly the same last year. If you think back, it didn't really kick off until we were playing Man City, Real Madrid, when it was real high quality football matches. We didn't play, and it was a slower brand of football. It wasn't this front foot. It was slower, going back to alley a bit more, keeping the ball between us a lot more. And I think fans, I was here one game early on last year, and I thought, oh my goodness, it's quiet, it's 15 minutes in. Then all of a sudden, Luis Diaz goes up, Annie Road end, left foot, rifles in the roof of the net, the place erupted. At vital times throughout his early stages, we got wins. Yeah. And we also, everybody was able to get used to the football because of those wins.
And actually, I remember he obsessed for weeks over that early defeat to Nottingham Forest here at Anfield, didn't he? And he took it personally, he took it badly, and I think the fans like that, because they probably felt the same.
Yeah, well, Forest done a number on Liverpool that day. I remember watching the game because they changed their tactics around, if you like. They brought out their most attacking players and put in workman-like players in them areas just to frustrate Liverpool. And then late on, when they started to get more of a foothold in the game, they changed the forward players, and then that gave them an extra incentive, and then they ended up winning the match. But he learned a great deal from it.
I'll tell you what he learned from that game. It was the first game after the first international break.
Yes.
And he played all the South American players in that game who travelled, who'd played these 2 games, and he played them all. He never done it again after an international break. The South American lads all sat on the bench, and he never played them again.
And what about the ones that it's a first Merseyside derby for today, like Kirkes, like Ekitike? Do you remember yours and the introduction?
My first game was in the FA Cup, and actually scored the winning goal. We won 1-0. So I remember very well.
Quite a good memory.
And that was at Goodison. So, yeah, as I say, I'll go back to, it wasn't a particularly good game. There wasn't a lot of football played in it, but we ended up winning the match, and that's what it's about. And these games are not always about playing the best football, is it, Phil? It's about getting the 3 points. It's getting that W next to your name, and it's for the fans to enjoy until you play again. But it's been a good start. You know, it's not been the brilliant football that we anticipate from Liverpool, but we've been in teams that show you how you win matches. It's not always about playing the best football. It's how do you show your discipline, how do you show your character. The 2 was attitude and commitment. I learnt them at Liverpool. That's what it was about. And when you go out there with that and you match the opposition, normally with your better ability, it will shine through at some stage. You'll end up winning the game. But you've got to match them, and I think that's why maybe he's gone with that 3 midfielders today, who he knows what he's going to get from them in a real competitive area of the field.
And then he can just bring a sub on and win in the 90th minute, and we'll all go home happy. That'll be fine. As you do. So the city's been building up to the Merseyside derby for obviously a few days now, maybe even a few weeks in some cases. I can bet that as soon as the full-time whistle went on Wednesday night, a certain Steve Hunder was in full derby frenzy mode, matchday pants on, everything. Steve, who's got the golden ticket to be on audio commentary with you today?
Matt, it's fantastic to see you, as always. You are one of the best, my friend. And the legend is back. John Aldridge, Aldo, hopefully... Well, maybe not. No, we don't want him as calm, do we? We want him like he was the other night, going absolutely crazy. I don't think the Atletico commentators next to us quite liked it. But, you know, you win and you lose games, don't you? So it is what it is. What a game this is, the derby. You know, people try and talk up a rivalry, don't they, with Manchester City. And because of Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola, what happened there. But this, as Shanks used to say with the league, is the bread and butter, isn't it? This is the game. The Merseyside derby. There's been so many emotions throughout the years, and this is the game, along with our arch rivals Manchester United. These are the games that really, really matter, and we're desperate to win, aren't we? Let's be honest, we are. Last season's games and the derbies, well, you talk about contrasting emotions. First of all, that incredible game at Goodison, the last ever Merseyside derby to be played at Goodison under the lights. You just had a feeling, didn't you, before that game, that there was something going to happen in that. There was all sorts of emotions. But I'm going to share a little something with you and see if you agree with me on here. I said this to Tomo at the end of last season, and Phil Tomo agreed with me. And I said, you know what? I said, if Tarkowski, and let's give Everton fans their moment, that was an unbelievable moment, last one at Goodison. But if he hadn't scored that, we would have won that game. That Tottenham game wouldn't have happened, would it? So I think we should all say a big toast to James Tarkowski, because if not, we could have won the league at the King Power. It would have been brilliant, of course it would. But it just wouldn't have been the same, would it? So that goal by Tarkowski enabled us, in the end, to win it on that magical day against Tottenham at Anfield. And that's football, isn't it? It really is. And then you talk about emotions, that the game at Anfield, you know, the game at Anfield there, with Diogo Jota, with what happened, forever etched, number 20, Diogo. You know, and we're on the back there, weren't we, coming into that Anfield game? That was a massive game to get us back underway in the title race, because we'd lost to PSG, despite playing well, creating a lot of chances. We lost to Newcastle United, and then it was Everton in the derby. You may remember a Tarkowski wild challenge that could easily have got a red. But it had to be Diogo, didn't it? It had to be him. Forever etched, number 20, Diogo Jota. What a goal. What a winner in front of the Kop. That is what magical moments are made of. His last ever goal for Liverpool, Diogo Jota, we will forever remember our number 20. That was just a pure magical moment that will be forever etched in Liverpool fans' hearts and history. It was truly a sensational moment, and you know, we'll never forget that, will we? Never forget that. Before we hand down to Matt, I remember Ray Houghton. Great to have Ray with us. He scored a wonderful winner in the FA Cup against Everton. Ask him, does he remember it? I tell you, from a John Barnes cross, it went off at Goodison that day. Let's hope we're celebrating today. Matt, it's all yours.
Remember that?
Oh, absolutely. The only thing I'd done in the game. I was poor that day, amongst a lot of players. But it was a little 1-2 down there, right between Peter and John Barnes, and John crossed the ball in. And how I remember it, Phil, I come soaring in over the Everton fullback and powered a header in past Neville Southall. But I remember running over to where the Liverpool fans were, and it was just pure celebration. You know, to play in your first derby and score and end up being the winner.
He headed goal.
And I did score against England as well in '88, if you don't remember.
Oh, yes. We remember that
He
one.
ran into that one, didn't he?
He did run into that one. Emotions galore on Merseyside Derby day. Thank you very much to Steve. One of the best. It is time for viewers on social media to leave us. But our Matchday Live build-up will continue here on LFC TV and All Red Video. If you're not yet a subscriber, you can find details on how to sign up online at liverpoolfc.com/watch. Coming up in the rest of our pre-match show, we'll touch back on that breathtaking night at Anfield on Wednesday against Atletico. Of course, we'll turn our attention to the Blues. Plus, we'll hear from Dom Soboslai, who starts today. Just before kick-off, Steve and Aldo will guide you through all the action with our live audio commentary. So lots and lots to look forward to. And of course, we'll be back after full-time with the pitch-side review of all that happens here at Anfield. The post-match show also available to listen to in the reaction on the club's official podcast platform, and you can watch the full game later this evening on LFC TV and Red Video. That's from 6. And look out for Inside Anfield 2, which takes you behind the scenes of events here at Anfield today. That'll be on Facebook and YouTube on Monday.